Welcome to the kitchen. Let's cook. Thank you for tuning in. This is episode 2 of the Kitchen Podcast. I'm co-host Jake Weisler and my beautiful business partner, Nate Tehan. We're chefs on this show, and we're excited to cook up some juicy drama and some hot takes and some funny stories and some life advice. That's kind of the goal of the podcast. It's just to talk. Just to talk. We keep saying no narrative. That's been our theme for this podcast. So
yeah. And today we're talking about awkward moments.
Awkward moments.
We have a whole list of awkward moments that people sent in. So we're going to be reading them, responding to them, giving a little bit of commentary and maybe background and personal experience with it.
It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting.
It's going to be interesting.
And we also have our first sponsor.
We do.
For this podcast, which is kind of crazy. Episode 2. I already have not just a sponsor, but a sponsor we love. Wedditor, a luxury, I could say luxury, a high-end wedding editing house. Mm-hmm. We used them this year for the first time with Adriana and Tyler. Blew it out of the water.
Absolutely. And
because of how well that edit was, how good that edit was, and how much our couple loved it, we loved it, it started this dialogue with Wedditor saying, we'd love to be partners with you guys in any way we can. And they liked the last episode of the podcast, I guess. So here we are. So thank you, Wedditor, for sponsoring today's podcast.
Okay, so without further ado, let's cook.
Living in a daydream. Ooh, such a sweet thing. Life on the big screen. It's such a beautiful scene, yeah.
Good morning. How'd you sleep?
Terrible.
So you guys, I asked Nate a few minutes ago, I was like, how'd you sleep? And he's like, I'm not going to tell you anything about my personal life except on the podcast now.
Yep. It's only, how you doing? I'll tell you on the podcast.
I don't know who you are anymore. Yeah, I didn't sleep as well, but here we are, 9 a.m.
Yeah.
Podcast.
What'd you do last night? How was dinner?
Good. Went and saw some friends. Got some pizza. Hot honey. It was good. At the Oak Kitchen. Man. It was good. How was the concert?
Not that good, actually. It's a shame. I went to see Tin Liquor, and they're one of my favorite groups, but every song sounds the same after like 10 minutes.
It's kind of your vibe, though. Music you like.
Yeah. But I don't know. Just you're at the concert, and at the 30-minute mark, every song has the same beat, the same instruments, the same everything. So each song individually, great. Loved it. But when they're just meshed together,
Could have left for half an hour.
I could have left, and they went for 2 hours. Saved the best song for last.
Yeah. No, we had dinner, and then we came home, and I had chocolate strawberries. Love chocolate strawberries.
From where? Zupas?
Made
Did you
'em.
make them? Make them.
Kenzie did. Yeah.
How'd you make the chocolate?
I think we used the Ghirardelli semi-sweet chips, the melted chips, the pellet.
The chocolate chips?
Not the chocolate chips. They're wafer things that they're.
Oh, the little circle things?
Yeah.
Like the fondue chocolate?
Yeah. Ghirardelli's though, so it's good.
How do you put them in the microwave, or do you boil it over, like put them in a glass bowl?
I'm not sure how I came home and they were ready, but I usually put them in a microwave. I should boil it though. Either way, it gets melted.
Yeah, either way.
Well, good, Nate. So a few things, big things for the Runaway Vows team. Had our first episode last week for the podcast, The Kitchen. People liked it, and we're back for episode 2.
Yeah, chef.
Excited to start doing this more regularly. Nate and I were talking about this week. We're just like, man, this could be like our immediate future, like just weekly conversations about life.
It's a weird thing to think. Yeah, listening to another guy's podcast, he was just like, yeah, I set out to record a podcast, and then here I am 5 years later. It's a full-time job. Which
That's crazy.
Yeah,
man. So yeah, today we have a fun thing planned, you guys. So originally, a little quick background about the podcast is we originally named it Something Blue, written by you.
By the people, for the people.
By the people, for the people. And the idea was we weren't the only voices on the podcast. We included our audience's stories and read them aloud and reacted to them. But Something Blue is a little niche, a little cutesy. I also learned there's another podcast out there called Something Blue in the wedding world. Something Blue something. And at the workshop, this narrative happened where we were calling each other, yes, chef, trying to get everyone to listen. And then you and I a few nights ago were shooting a wedding, and we're like we should never podcast the kitchen because we want to say, yo, let's cook,
There's just so many cooking
cook up some drama.
analogies.
Yeah. So welcome to the kitchen.
Yeah. The visitors are going to be called the sous chefs.
The sous
of the week.
chefs.
They're sous.
Yep.
Can't wait.
Maybe watch Ratatouille just live on the podcast for our audio listeners,
On the LED wall.
which is getting fixed.
It's today in an hour.
So we're gonna speed this up. But still, regardless, part of the podcast series we want to do is still that written by you format, and we ask our viewers to submit anonymous stories, and we have like 10 or so topics, just wedding horror stories. I feel like we always talk about so many educational things about videography, but we never talk about all the crap that goes wrong on the wedding day. That just makes me cry laughing. So we asked our viewers, like, yeah, submit your anonymous stories, and shocking.
Shocking. The amount. Just the amount.
Shocking.
It was day one and just floods came in. Like, hang on.
Yeah. So you guys, if you want to submit your story, we'll put the link below, or somewhere on the platform, and you can submit your anonymous stories.
Can't wait.
Completely anonymous, by the way. And all we ask is that you say what vendor you are, or if you're a bride or a groom, or if you even just attended a wedding. I would love to know those stories.
The hardest part of this whole podcast thing
Oh my gosh.
is going to be not talking about our personal experiences. Being like, oh, yeah, do you remember when we were filming so-and-so and this happened?
Got to respect our clients. If you are one of our clients who's willing to let us tell a story, and
And
something went down at your wedding, just give us the go ahead.
Let us know.
So today's episode, we're talking about awkward wedding moments. So whether you're a vendor, a guest, a bride, I actually think it'd be hilarious to have some guests submit stories.
Wedding guests.
Just people who like aren't in the wedding world, just like a third party perspective on something horrible that would happen on a wedding day. That'd be crazy.
I bet it'd be like a light stand falling over. That's probably like, well, I don't know.
Some videographer's gimbal hit my child's head.
Which
Guilty.
I've definitely done that. I'll never forget the first time I had 4 plates on both sides of the glide cam, smacked a kid. It's like, oh, I'm so sorry.
Don't bring your kids to a wedding. Oop. Hot take.
That's
I hate
another
kids at
episode.
weddings.
Yeah.
Sorry
another
for all the
episode.
weddings I've attended. When your kids have been there, I adapt, but anyway.
It's not your preference.
All my brides gonna DM me. What?
We had
My kids were angels. Yeah. So yeah, let's just get into it. What do you say?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's pull it up here.
So Nate and I are gonna read stories. We'll kind of pause here and there. Maybe give some insight. Maybe some wisdom from
If we have any.
from the two chefs in the kitchen on how you can make your dish better.
Oh, wow. That was good.
That's so stupid.
Well, that was good.
All right, let's see what's cooking.
You've been thinking.
Dude, that was off the dome.
No,
That was off the dome.
You've been thinking about that since last night.
Nah, dude. It's off the dome. All right. I'm going to start from the bottom. I'm going to shake it up a little bit. My instinct is to start on the top.
Yeah, you kick it off here.
Also, as for this podcast rating, some of these stories are pretty out of pocket.
Oh, you're talking about maturity rating.
Yeah. But hey, if we've all seen kitchen shows, we know viewer discretion advised.
You're starting from
There's nothing vile.
Yeah, I'm guessing
But
you
there's
just saw the
definitely
word. You saw the word nipples. Is that why you decided to bring up the
Yeah.
maturity rating?
Yes,
just
I saw the
briefly
word
skimming.
nipples.
Briefly skimming. That was the first word I saw somehow.
So viewer discretion advised. We're all adults here.
yeah.
Some 12-year-old
Do
listening.
Is there any whatever I say doesn't reflect my views or doesn't reflect this institution's standings?
Yeah, we don't represent the wedding world.
No.
Yeah, but I think that's a smart thing to say, that we're reading these stories all in good fun.
Great fun.
Everyone submitted this story knowing it would be mentioned on this podcast. We're not reading every story submitted, but most of them we're going to read and just react to them and laugh about. We want this to be fun. We want this to be
Yeah.
we want to laugh about this.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you want to clip me and cancel me, Good luck.
I guess this is just who we are, though. When we show up to a wedding, this is
it.
just dress nicer. We're dressed nicer on a wedding day, but this is.
What are you
I
talking
don't know
about?
what I'm trying to say.
Are you talking about like how we're dressed right now? Or
No,
like,
no, I'm just trying to say like this podcast.
I just woke up.
Me too. This podcast is us, playfully bantering around, just
Yeah.
having a good time.
Yeah.
On a wedding day, I'd say we're a lot different.
Oh, completely. All these things could happen, and I would be very cool, calm, and professional.
Cool as a cucumber.
But right now, I'm gonna laugh at it
Yeah.
because I need to let this out.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And no, I think that's a good point though. This podcast, the whole point of this podcast was to, because there are so many amazing educational podcasts out there. We listen to them, love them, been on them, but we wanted to just be. We didn't want to be more than noise because we wanted to be something just different.
Yeah.
And we thought, let's have a podcast where we read stories, we entertain our viewers to the best we can, and let's also just like pull back the curtain and laugh at the wedding industry a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And good
I
fun.
Like that. Yeah, I like that.
And if you're in the industry and you're offended by this, listen to something else.
Maybe we weren't meant, to work together. I don't know.
All right.
Yeah, kick it off.
Some of these stories are pretty specific. So, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So this is from a photographer submission. The bride's wedding dress was embroidered all over with flowers. Beautiful, beautiful design.
Sounds like a great dress.
2 of the flowers happened to be perfectly placed right over her nipples.
The maturity rating.
Hey, we all have nipples. My second shooter noticed it as well right away. It was kind of hard to miss. I thought it was a bit odd that she would choose that dress, but hey, to each their own. After I delivered their photos, she reached out to me and said she had noticed, for the first time, the flowers directly over her nipples. How did she not notice that when she tried on the dress? Which brings up a good question.
That's a fantastic question.
I feel like if there's one thing brides are so picky about is the dress they choose.
How they look on the wedding
She's
day.
wore it a billion times. Tried it on, altered it. To give her the benefit of the doubt, I want to say she tried it on. It didn't fit, right? Because I feel like you get them altered later once you buy it to fit your size.
Before the wedding day didn't
Have you
fit.
been dress shopping before?
With my wife, yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
not me. You've been dress shopping before for you.
all right.
Personal.
Stay on track. Stay on track.
Jake.
But so they'll clamp the dress to fit the bride tight,
Yeah.
and then they'll get it altered. So my hope here is that she tried it on, it fit great. The flowers were in different spots, and then they altered it to fit her shape. And when she put it on the wedding day, the flowers were right where they shouldn't be.
But do you not? I don't know here.
Sure.
Educate me. After you get it altered for the final time, probably before the wedding, don't you?
I would think so.
You would want to try it on,
I would
right?
think so. And also, here's what's crazy, is that she probably tried it on with her mom and friends, and none of them said anything. Saboteurs. Let's continue.
Plot thickens.
Let's stir the pot. I don't know. Try in here.
That was
How do you say? Back to the
a
oven.
little bit
Let's
of a
cook.
miss.
All right. We'll work on it, guys. I was so shocked that she didn't even know. I assumed she knew but didn't care. Anyway, I went back and edited out all the shots and showed the flower nipples. It took hours. I probably should have charged for that. But that was one of my first weddings I ever did, so I was quite green. Anyway, my favorite line, all hail the flower nipple queen.
Oh. So I have a question.
Please. And then let's move on to the next.
No, I have a question. So the flowers placed where they are.
I gotta see these pictures.
Yeah, you'd like that.
I'm just curious. All right, do you want to cook up the next one, chef?
Are we done with that last one?
I think I'm done with it.
I think I'm ready to move on as well. Sorry.
I think we covered it extensively.
I think we're already realizing there are going to be times where we're a little too uncomfortable.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, this one's a little longer.
Yep.
Also from a photographer.
Okay.
Okay, it says, I had a bride once who had an extremely low budget wedding, and to save money, she rented a dress instead of buying one. Is that
Efficient.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, efficient.
You're gonna wear it once, right?
Yeah. It was a 2-piece situation, so the rental company can easily fit more body types. The skirt had an elastic waistline, and the top went over it to cover the elastic. Well, the skirt was too long for the bride, and she and her husband kept stepping on it throughout the day. Not usually a huge issue. Oh boy, this is not usually a huge issue, but with the elastic waistband, it kept getting pulled down slightly. Me and my assistant, man, I need to can I turn this horizontal here?
Yeah,
Because,
you can.
who would have thought? All right, here we go. Me and my assistant for the day kept having to tell her to pull it back up and warned her to be aware of the problem throughout the day because there may be times we wouldn't be able to tell her to fix it and it could get much worse. And of course, it did.
Oh, no.
Oh boy. What do you think is going to happen?
Just read. I know exactly what's going to happen.
During the first dance, her husband, oh boy,
Not the first
during
dance.
the first dance, her husband stepped on it just as she was about to spin. The waistband got pulled down probably 8 to 10 inches and stayed there, showing the shapewear the bride had on under the dress. They danced half of their first dance like that with her stomach area just uncovered and showing her shapewear. Me, my associate, and all the bridesmaids were trying to get her attention to tell her to fix it, or even her husband's attention, but they had choreographed and rehearsed the first dance.
Not a choreographed dance. I said that wrong.
You said that out loud. And rehearsed this first dance, and were both so nervous and focused on it that they didn't even notice us. It was so awkward, and to top it off, there's more. Their dance was incredibly cringy and uncomfortable. I feel like a jerk saying that, but unless you're a pro dancer, here's someone agreeing with you, don't have a rehearsed dance, please. They look so awkward, and if you're getting a rented dress, make sure it's still well fitted.
2 points.
Hit me.
First, rehearsed dances. Unless you're Derek Cuff, I agree. Second thing, could have been worse.
I was expecting, yeah.
Could have been worse.
Could have been worse.
Horrific, embarrassing. Definitely could have been worse.
I thought it was just going to completely rip and,
Low key, glad she had shapewear on.
yeah.
That could have been very awkward, and it could have gone way further down,
Yeah.
which would have been horrible for your wedding.
8 to 10 inch. Well,
So what's the lesson here?
I think it all comes back to the rehearsed dances.
Okay.
However,
Or alterations, going back to the flowers, nipples.
yeah. Lots of
Get
problems
a
with
dress
the
that
dresses.
works.
This
Yeah.
is our first 2 questions in. It's all coming back to the dress. But the rehearsed dances, I do want to get your opinion on this. Are we talking like a full rehearsed dance, full song? Because I will tell you, one of my biggest things that I don't like is when the dances with the parents, even first dances, go too long. When they go for
long.
like a 4-minute song, and it's like,
Or 4-minute songs. Crazy.
you just got to kind of get the best part of the song. And
It's
move
hard
out.
for me to agree with that because there are those case by cases when it's the best part of the day, and it's so hype and it's so funny. But I agree, too much of a good thing.
Becomes a bad thing.
Yeah. What movie was it where it's like you could talk for an hour and people will love you, like a comedian, but if it goes 10 minutes too long, then everyone's bored and they don't remember the rest of your show. They think of those last 10 minutes. I think the same thing applies with dances,
Yeah.
weddings too,
Yeah.
vacations as well.
Yeah.
If that extra day could ruin the whole vacation. You know what I mean? If you're
that's
just
true.
there a little bit too long.
That's true.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Embarrassing.
Could have been worse, though.
Oh, yeah.
It could have been worse. Glad that bride, had on shapewear.
So this is a story of us not knowing how to handle it, and because of that, the wedding video sort of did not come out the way we wanted it to. Oh boy. Up until the planning meeting and everything leading after the day, we thought we had a beautiful couple and a beautiful family and everything else to work with. But of course, you don't know the personalities in a time of stress. True colors come out. That's why I said a date long. We'll get to that later. On the day started beautifully. Everything was great, sunny, bright day. But by the time we rolled up to the ceremony, the entire weather pattern changed and it was pitch black clouds and sting raining like cats. Black clouds and sting and raining like cats and dogs. What sting?
Black clouds. I've never seen black clouds.
I think it's like a Texas story because doesn't that happen in Texas where it's just great weather and then it's just not?
And sting
What
and
is
rain.
sting? Is sting like an
Black
animal?
clouds and sting.
Anyway, so it started raining cats and dogs. Now, to set the scene a little bit more in terms of the location, it was the bride's family farm. It was the bride's family farm in the middle of a farmland, and family farm weddings aren't out of the norm, so the wedding reception is a tent. Love tent weddings. The ceremony is outside with a tent about 100 yards away, 180 guests. Okay, set the scene for us.
I like a good setting of the scene.
Place the kitchen
It's a little
utensils.
it's a little hard without the punctuation,
Yeah, this is a very poorly submitted.
which I applaud you for
Thanks.
after what was it on the day of the day started beautifully.
Thank
that
you.
one I
Took
would
me
have
a second to compute it.
Good place with
All
the
right.
comma.
Just when the getting ready portion of the day was done and the weather has massively changed on us, we were all hoping for 10 to 15 minutes of rain and we should be done. But that was not the case. It did not stop storming and did not stop raining for over 6 hours. So a very sunny wedding day turned into a dark, stormy, moody, and definitely not a good day. At least for the bride.
You're about to start crying.
I thought it was the next, like,
You're like just bawling.
it's just its own sentence, at least for the bride. About 1 p.m., when the ceremony was about to start, everybody and every guest that arrived are looking for shelter and are under the tent and outside where the seats were. The bride started crying like this is the end of everything. We don't know how to react. We don't know what to say to get the couple back in a good, jolly mood going into ceremony. So the entire ceremony is her just sad and slightly wet, and it does not look good. The evening closer to sunset turned out okay. It was a little sunny and a little brighter, but the damage was done during the morning in the ceremony, so the rest of the day was just us trying not to talk about the rain and everybody around her trying to do the same. That's tough. Awkward moment maybe, also just kind of more of an unfortunate event.
It happens.
Because if that happened to me now, I'd feel so bad for the couple, but I wouldn't feel any pressure because our job is to document the day as it happens. You know
Not
what I mean?
produce. Yep.
And I always remember Adam Grumbo's rain film that he made,
Beautiful.
where it starts off with the groomsmen the day before burying a bottle of whiskey or something, like the good luck charm that it won't rain the next day. And then it cuts to the worst storm, tables blowing over, the whole venue's being swept away by the rain and the winds. But Adam turned it into a beautiful story.
Yeah.
So I do think like maybe a teaching point here is when that stuff happens, your job as a videographer, and let's just call ourselves documentary filmmakers here, is to tell a story of that, right? And to still create a beautiful memory. And then we've had some horrible weddings. And the edit's job was to make the memory better than the actual moment, to turn the film into something that the bride can look back on and say, at least my film's beautiful. I'll remember all the best parts of my day, and also what happened. So
Yeah. I think I think some of for example, Matt Johnson
yeah,
in the rain when he brings out his
Yes.
pack away and he puts him in the pouring rain and it
Yeah.
just looks beautiful.
adapts.
There are ways. And then another one, more recent, I would say, probably I think last year, Stanton. Do you remember like he did an elopement and then you just hear like it kind of cuts to black and you just hear the bride whisper like, look at the lightning. And it just goes and you just see this huge storm. Beautiful. Man. And a rainy day, a rainy wedding isn't anything crazy unusual, right? It happens quite a bit. We filmed a lot of rainy weddings. And yeah, you document it, you don't produce it. It can be hard. And I think that's why the whole cheesy saying like, oh, it's good luck if it rains on a wedding day, because it happens so much. It was just somebody's way of comforting a bride and making her think, oh yeah, no, this is good luck. And it just became like this.
Yeah, I agree.
This saying. It rained on my wedding up until the
in the morning, yeah.
right until the ceremony. And you were telling everyone, guys, they already know. Don't talk about the rain.
I hate that. That's my ick, and the videographers as well, it sounds like, is when people comment on that stuff. Like at my wedding, it was kind of windy, and people started just saying it a lot. I was like, you're saying it, it makes it worse than it really actually is. Because we're cool, we're just gonna roll with the punches. But if you keep telling us to worry about it, all of a sudden now we're anxious about things.
Yeah, it is hard when the bride gets kind of.
I was gonna say, to their credit, that it's easy to roll with the rain if the bride's rolling with it. But if your main person, the bride, is breaking down about it, it's hard to kind of roll with that.
That's very hard.
You gotta just be a happy presence and just try to change the vibe in the room.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Next one. Anything else that need to be said about that? All right. The next one is also from a videographer.
Let's get it.
Okay, here we go. Okay, so this wedding was fully self-organized by the couple. Pause. Stop. Oh man, these are tough. When there's no DJ, they just have like a Spotify playlist. I get it.
Is this a music?
Well, I don't know, but I get it. Like people trying to save money.
We
you
did,
know.
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, you did it. Like it's.
Well, we did DJ. But everything else we planned.
You can't blame couples for doing that. Absolutely not. People are in different
There's no
financial.
blame here.
Yeah, there's no blame. People are in different financial
But
situations.
I think we can say even those couples know it's not the ideal scenario.
They do. But, they're trying to save money. They probably have a honeymoon, or maybe they're trying to save up for a house, or who knows, But as a vendor, when you show up, it's just kind of that, like, oh, there's no MC, there's no planner, there's no one to talk to. We're kind of just rolling with whatever happens.
I think it's easy to just kind of say, like, yeah, we'll plan our own wedding. But you also have to know that you're really planning an event that hundreds of people are going to attend, and you're responsible for their experience. Onward. Take that from Theo Vaughn.
I love Theo. Okay. Fully self-organized by the couple. The location was in the bride's backyard. Red flag number 1. Well, I don't know. We filmed some
Hot
pretty...
take there. I love backyard weddings.
Some of my favorites have been in the bride's backyard. All right. It was in the bride's backyard. Man, this one's taking a bit, so we'll just...
Go on.
And they did everything themselves. Big stretch tent, food trucks. This is sounding pretty great.
My dream wedding.
Sign me up. They all organized it the night before.
Sorry?
What?
Impossible.
How does that happen?
Impossible.
While heavy rain was falling down. So the actual
They
day of the
probably set
wedding...
it up the night before, like it was all being put together the night before.
Yeah, I thought they were saying they organized
no
it the
way.
night. Yeah.
Not a chance.
The
Food trucks
heck
the
of
night
a-
before.
heck of a
They're
planner.
booked out.
Okay. So the actual day of the wedding, I started filming at the groom. Went quite well. When we arrived at the location, we had to wait for the ceremony to start, and guess what? The groom forgot the flowers. He had to get back, and the ceremony was delayed by 1 hour. Then halfway through the ceremony, the JBL speaker broke down during the vows. The groom was halfway and started crying. Speaker broke down. Awkward. Then he popped champagne into all the guests, and he had dinner. Everything went well until... Wait, yeah, what did that say?
In the guests?
Then he popped champagne into all the guests and had dinner. I'm assuming just launched.
So he ate dinner at the ceremony. That's crazy. Or do you think he popped champagne into the crowd? Everyone got
Maybe
wet.
pop champagne.
And then they went to dinner.
Maybe this is just trying to transition into a perfectly normal day. Like everything happened, pop champagne, went to dinner.
Okay.
Unclear. Where are we at? Everything went well until the DJ arrived. They did have a DJ. Nice. He was not prepared at all. Not the right cables, not the right songs. Long story short, I borrowed him a cable from my audio set so that the first dance could start. Yikes. Then halfway through the party, one of his speakers fell down from like 2 meters and almost fell on a little kid. And I have to say, don't laugh. The bride and groom were super friendly, but organizing their own wedding to save money wasn't their best idea. I love weddings like this, to be honest, always so fun.
I'm getting hard to read on this videographer.
This is yeah. It sounds like it was still a good wedding.
Yeah.
It was
Couple
just
things here and there.
speaker issues, which crazy that one speaker blew out and then the DJ speaker fell over. I've never had a DJ speaker fall over. That's
Man,
a
if it
big
would have
speaker.
hit that kid, that would have been wild. Would have loved to read that.
Don't bring kids to weddings, I guess.
Yeah, man. That's the narrative of the day.
Also, kind of with the story, but just looking at how this is written. When you give something to someone, do you say, I borrowed them, or I lent it to them, or I let them use it?
We do have an international audience, so I wonder if it's...
This is definitely international because they said meters instead of feet.
Nice observation.
Thank you.
I don't lend things out, usually.
If you were.
I'd say lend.
I lent them a cable.
What do you say?
Yeah. I would probably say like
I would say I lent them or they borrowed it.
Yeah. I let them
they
borrow.
stole it, yeah.
I let them borrow a cable. I don't use borrow as a verb. Anyway.
He borrowed it.
Yeah.
I'm going to change my vernacular to borrowed.
I guess I do use it, but I don't. Okay. Anyway. Again, not the worst thing. Mm-hmm. The speaker falling over would be pretty traumatic. That would shut down the dance.
Oh, that was the end of the story.
That was the end of the story. No, yeah.
Always so fun.
This is us. Ended on a very positive note. Always so fun. Would love to do it again.
That's crazy. Well, props to the videographer for being prepared with the audio cables, helping
Yeah.
the DJ do his job. That's awesome.
That's something we always teach is always have your bag just full of every cable you can possibly have. 1/4 inch, RCA, XLR, adapters, everything.
We have them all.
Multiple of everything.
All right, next story from a videographer. One time, I was second shooting video at a wedding, and I was in charge of getting the mic off the groom after the ceremony. The groom was in the middle of a crowd, and the family and wedding party members who were all congratulating him. He was hugging everyone. I like to make sure I'm not disrupting the happy emotions of the moment, so as I walked towards him, I said joyfully, "Congratulations." I should have immediately said, also, "I need to take the mic off you," but instead, I just started reaching for the mic on his jacket, and he started going in for a hug. He probably thought my reaching arm was a signal for the hug. You can imagine how that looked. Anyway, the hug stopped midair because our arms kind of collided into each other in a weird way. I awkwardly stumbled over my words, saying, "Oh, sorry, I'm just taking your mic." He looked a little perplexed and said, "Oh, right, go ahead." I walked away after that, feeling so dumb. I should have just given him a hug and then took the mic, but it all happened so fast. Now I'm mentally preparing myself for possible hugs, so I'm taking mics off after the ceremony.
Does that ever happen to you?
Probably. It's so funny to picture. Just, oh, congratulations. Because I like to picture that it's a second shooter who doesn't even know the couple at all, and so he's just like, "Why is my videographer hugging me?" That's a good one.
What's the protocol on hugging? Because there are some clients we hug, some clients we just shake their hands, some we don't say anything to
You
at
get a
all.
hug from Jake Weisler, you're in good standing.
Yeah. You give good hugs.
I'm a good hugger.
You are a good hugger. You know who's a really good hugger?
There are some bad huggers out there.
But you want to know who's a good hugger? Dallin.
Dallin's a good hugger.
Dallin's a great hugger.
I could go for a Dallin hug.
Dallin's just a
Bear hug.
just a big
He's
old
a good
bear
bear
hug.
hug. Yeah.
Yeah,
I hate those hugs that like your chests collide first, and then the arms just flap close. Oh,
You want to know what hugs also make me feel a little uncomfortable? Like, I know why it's done, but when you're hugging a female and it's just like they don't want to touch it all, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like that.
your shoulders only.
Yeah, it's like shoulders. Technical difficulties.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're saying. Yeah,
Like I get it,
Yeah.
and I understand why it would be weird for the other just full
sure.
hug, but that also. So it's just the side hug.
Do
Probably
you
the
hug a lot of
safest.
females?
No. But if I am hugging like a client, it's just side hug is the easiest.
Yeah, go in for the side hug always.
Never really a full hug.
Yeah, I love the dap hugs.
I love a good dap.
We're good at dap hugs.
Good dap hug.
Anyway, onward.
All right, next one. Do you hug a lot of females?
Just trying to catch you there. So
All right.
just so make sure Kayla's listening.
I love you, Kayla. Okay, this one is from a videographer. A barn wedding.
Love those.
Okay. This one was at a classic barn wedding. Wanted to take the bride out for some pics, but had to hide the groom. I'm assuming it was before the ceremony then. Mm-hmm. We were all having a great time, so we were joking that he needed to hide. A guest who was close to me came up and asked what we were talking about. It was an old lady in her 60s to 70s, I'd assume. Told her about hiding the groom so they could have their first look be for when she walked down the aisle. The guy proceeds to tell me, "Back in my day, I didn't care for that." I'm trying to do a cool voice. I'll just say it
I don't
normal.
like this.
"Back in my day, I didn't care for that, so I went in and surprised my fiance in his room." Wait, this is not making sense. Quote, "Back in my day, I didn't care for that, so I went in and surprised my fiance in his room." They've kind of switched up. First they said it was the lady first, and
It's a
then the
lady.
guy,
It's
then
a
the
lady.
lady.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
He gave...
Go on.
I don't know if I can
So
do
glad
this.
you got this story.
I don't know if I can do
Go on.
this. Okay. He gave me some gawk, but after I dropped my clothes, he was okay with it. I don't like this anymore.
I think
I don't like this.
I think our generation has really ruined the word God.
I'm so sorry. This is I don't know. This is Okay, they really have ruined it.
He
Gave me some grief,
some slack, some
yeah,
grief,
kind of like some hard time. Yeah, he gave me a hard time. Probably was like,
But after
I dropped my clothes, he was okay with it. Yeah,
men are simple creatures.
I'm not gonna lie. The first 5 letters, I thought that was going somewhere completely different. I didn't know what to say, so I awkwardly laughed and then left to go, quote, film something. No further interactions with said guest during the rest of the evening.
I hate those moments. It's like when that guy walks up to you at a wedding and says, "Isn't my wife hot?" And you're just like, "What do you want me to say?"
She's beautiful. Yeah.
What do you want me to say here?
You just say, yeah, man, you love, like, she's out of your league.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. I hate those moments. Oh, I feel the awkwardness.
Along with, hot take here.
Please.
Again, kids are tough at a wedding sometimes. Most times, as you would probably say. But at the same time, kind of like
Old people.
the older people. Yeah, no, like the more rough, like socially unaware older people.
Every joke is at your expense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they just say stuff, and I'm just like, I don't know what to say to that.
Yeah.
Back in your day, videographers weren't a thing, so they don't know like that you're working. I don't know. I've gotten many weird comments that you just like kind of laugh it off and move on.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would say to this one though. I'd just be like,
We'll suggest that.
yeah, we'll suggest
That's
that.
so awkward. I hate those.
Oh,
Yeah,
anyway.
some of these are kind of making me a little sweaty.
Yeah, I'm a little sweaty.
All right, onward. A videographer said, "I had a couple who were not at all afraid." Oh,
This is gonna be good. Oh, I guess now is a good time to define. There are some expletives
yeah.
in this one.
There are.
I probably won't say them. You can say them if you want.
How explicit?
Oh, you'll see.
Oh. I see that glaring F word just sitting there.
Just getting the
We'll
right
get
mindset.
to it.
Yeah.
It's like when you're reading that book in school and you get to that one paragraph and everyone just looks at you. You gonna say it? All right. I had a couple who were not at all afraid to be sexual with each other, which, don't get me wrong, I love that. I'm a very cheeky filmmaker.
I love the word cheeky. It's so fun.
I got some cheeky filmmakers,
Cheeky
in the
filmmakers.
kitchen. I got back to editing, and the film was coming along great, but felt like it needed a little bit more authenticity to it. So I started listening to the audio from the bride's mic during the in-between moments. Okay, never do that. Never do that. During dinner, the couple took a second for themselves in the bridal suite. I don't know if I'm going to read this one.
Just keep going.
And I thought to myself, there might be something sweet in here I could use. Oh, I'm sure.
No.
Imagine my face as while I'm jumping around the recording, I hear, "Wait, you're wearing a mic too?" from the groom, before he proceeds to say, "F it, sorry if you hear this," into the mic. Giggles. And they consummate their marriage anyway.
This is terrible.
With her leg strap still on, mic still rolling. Needless to say, I didn't listen further once I figured out what was going on, but I didn't do more editing that day, LMAO.
With the leg strap still on.
Wild. It reminds me of The Office when Michael and when Michael and Holly go into the stairwell to get away from the cameras to make out, and she's like, "But you're mic'd up." He's like, "Oh," and he's like, "I'll turn it off," and he turns it up.
Trying not to just like laugh really hard into the mic.
That's disgusting.
I can't believe with the leg strap still on. I don't want to linger on this one too much.
You know,
First-
I'll say this though, that's wild, because if we're in a group of people, I'm just like a PDA guy, so like kissing my wife in front of a lot of people, not like really our thing. Even holding hands as we walk down Disney is pushing it.
You're not a huge PDA guy.
Not like
Holding hands in
well, like
Disneyland.
that's probably a bad example, but like wouldn't like just like we're not like those people like we're in a family gathering, we're not like, just like hugging her all the time, kissing, you know. So like knowing I'm wearing a mic, wild. Wow. Wild.
Also, just don't skim audio from
Yeah.
random days, from random parts of the moment,
Yeah.
like the day where they're just like,
We'll use audio bites in between moments, like the in between ceremony and cocktail hour.
yeah.
first look to bridals.
I'd say moments
But
when they're not
when it's
completely
like
private.
they're private.
Yeah.
Because then what if they're just talking crap about you
You hear
too?
some weird stuff.
Oh yeah.
I stopped doing that when I started, like, I think I had one wedding where I was just listening to the groom's mic after he got married and he was just with his boys for a sec, and you just hear some crazy talk.
Men are vile.
Vile. And so
Vile
after that, I was just like,
Oh gosh. All
on
right.
a different note, actually, from that, probably the most wholesome moment I ever heard. I was skimming through some audio, and right before the ceremony, the groom was alone, and he went into the restroom, and I was like, oh, shoot. Like, I don't want to hear him. But, like, I saw, like, these audio levels, like, he was talking, so I was like, hang on, so I'm going to listen. And I listened, and he was saying a prayer. He kneeled down, and he was just like, thank you, God, for giving me this woman. Like, crying. And it was so powerful.
Wow.
It was incredible. So there are some wholesome moments that come from
beautiful.
it. Yeah, it was absolutely
So
beautiful.
what's the lesson here? Do skim or don't skim?
With caution.
Because you skimmed when he was in the bathroom. That's wild.
It was right before the ceremony. So I was trying to find the ceremony audio, and I just naturally came upon it. It wasn't like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
It's not unusual.
Oh, sure, yeah. I believe you.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. No, you're good.
All right.
Did it make it in the film? I'm actually curious.
This was years ago. It didn't make it in the film.
Not a big audio guy.
I think I
They covered it with some music. Some Secret Nation or
some secret maybe, yeah.
Tim Halperin.
I think I cut that little audio bit, and I didn't know what to do with it. I didn't know if I should send, like, because it was a really
it's a
private
very
moment.
personal moment, yeah.
So I don't remember. I think I asked him, like, hey man, like, I would love to just share this with your bride. So I think
It's a beautiful moment.
I cut that little audio bit and sent it to her, and she's like, this is how much he loves you, sort of thing.
That's powerful stuff, though. That's
It was
really cool.
He was like in tears.
Wow.
Okay, next one. And this is from a videographer. Well, this one, I guess it's another commando-ish story. This one is also from a videographer with an exclamation point. Videographer. So normally before I start filming the ladies getting ready, I always ask if everyone is decent before entering.
I don't like where this is going. I don't like the start of this.
But why do we all say, is everyone decent? Because we say that. Is everyone decent? Yeah, come on in.
Boundaries, respect,
But why is the word,
professionality,
why is it decent though? Why isn't it just,
decent.
is everyone dressed?
What is decent? Let me stew on that. Let me stew on that.
Okay.
Let me stew on that.
A natural thing that we
Natural,
say
yeah.
that comes
Let
back
it
to the kitchen.
marinate. Yeah.
Man. Well, one day I asked before entering and got a firm yes from not just the bride, but from everyone else upstairs. As I entered the bridal suite, it was as if I had just entered an X-rated movie and nobody was wearing clothes. I immediately went back out and asked again, are we sure everyone is decent?
I guess it's important to understand, to be on the same page of what the word decent means.
I think we need to not use the word decent.
Yeah, I agree.
I think, is everyone dressed?
Clothed.
Yeah. Is everyone clothed?
Yeah.
The bride herself responded and said she'd like me to enter and film everything. So I did.
Wild.
That's crazy. And I felt like a creep the entire time. But the bride insisted and was very pleased that I was there to capture those moments. Later in the night, I told my second shooter what had happened. I said to him, you know, it wouldn't surprise me that all these ladies are strippers. About an hour went by and the photographer comes up to us and says, you're not going to believe what I just found out. I replied and asked, what?
Let me guess.
To which she says, I found out that all the bridesmaids work at the same strip club.
No way.
I turned to my second shooter and said, I called that. This is a 100% true story, exactly how it happened. It was awkward, hilarious, and something I'll certainly never forget. Thanks for letting me share.
That's wild. That's crazy.
So I think moving on, we just won't say decent.
Yeah, I agree.
Because decent is a wide range.
Yeah. It's also an interesting situation to be put in. Because let's say, because in their world, that's just their girl moment. Right?
Yeah.
They're just so used to that.
Yeah.
So they want that filmed. But what if you're not comfortable with that? But they're paying you to capture their day. It's an interesting scenario.
Kind of a gray area, too. Yeah, at what point is it something where you're just not comfortable?
Where do your morals kick in?
Yeah.
And not do your job on that day?
What would we have done in that moment?
Probably would have said no.
Yeah.
Personally.
Just say, hey, this is not.
Personally.
This isn't going.
Not probably. We would have said no, personally.
Yeah.
So just let us know when she has her clothes. We'll come in.
Yeah,
Get
we
some
don't
fun
use
shots
this.
of you.
But she sounded like she was really insistent that she comes in and film everything.
I think also might be important to know a little bit more to the story.
Getting to know the couple before the
Two
wedding.
happily married men.
Yeah.
I think it wouldn't be a hard
Yeah.
stretch to say no.
We're not doing it.
Yeah. And no one would think twice about it, but
I just feel like, I don't know. I think you should know the couple.
a little bit.
Like, I feel like that should have been, that's a pretty big thing to not know anything about.
Yeah. Well, I hope she enjoyed those shots.
Yeah.
The bride, at least. Crazy.
Crazy.
Okay, I'm going to read the next two because this next one's really short.
Okay.
Actually, yeah, another story just like that. My first wedding of 2021, I almost walked straight into the room where the bride was changing into her dress. The makeup artist saved my life that day.
Always got
So
to knock.
do knock. Yeah.
Do knock.
Okay, so this is from a groom.
This is a good one.
Not only this, one of our grooms. You guys probably remember this, is how it starts. I'm actually going to be delivering their film today. You guys probably remember this. I got married a few months ago. Best day of my life. Literally everything went as planned. Didn't feel real. That is, until the dance party. During the dance party, I, the groom, and my best man decided to whip out our classic dance party moves. In performing this move, I run towards my best man, flip into a handstand right in front of him so that my back is facing him, my head between his legs, and my feet above his head. Then he picks me up, and I kick my feet back and forth while he jumps around in a circle. It's a dumb move, I know, but it's one that's destined to get the crowd going. And it did.
Gets the people going.
Every time we would perform this move in the past, I've been wearing Lululemon anti-ball crusher pants. The best pants in the market. Shameless plug. But this time I was wearing my wedding suit pants, naturally. It was his wedding. As he lifted me up to spin in a circle, the crowd gathered around us to watch. I started to flail my legs in all directions, dancing to the music. Suddenly, while upside down, I saw all my groomsmen gather around me and cover up my crotch area. I hadn't noticed, but while upside down, butt and crotch eye level with the entire crowd, my pants ripped. I remember this. We had 2 cameras on that moment. Not just a little rip, but a tear from my crotch to my butt and down my leg everyone saw. Wasn't commando.
Thank goodness.
My groomsmen stayed gathered around me as we ran together to the groom's room. Also a hilarious moment. Had no clue what to do. I didn't have a second pair of pants and didn't think my groomsmen did either. I was prepared to tie my extra shirt around my waist and head back to the dance party. This guy was committed to dancing.
Oh, yeah.
Then one of my groomsmen remembered that he had an extra pair of pants in his car, which is wild. Something I feel like you would have. Not like out of the sense of being prepared, just
That I would have, or just
random
me?
stuff in your car.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Then he had in his car, so after 10 minutes or so, my groomsmen and I made our grand entrance back onto the dance floor with fresh pants. My grandmas and aunts may never look at me the same, but honestly, I wouldn't change that part of my day. Made it memorable. It was a really hype dance party.
That was a great moment.
Yeah, they were awesome.
I appreciate a groom or a bride that just gets the people going with some dance move.
One of my best men at my wedding ripped his pants doing crazy dance moves. So funny.
It does get the people going.
Yeah. Oh, it's crazy. I'm so excited that you're reading this next one as well.
Oh, gosh. Man, I feel like I've got some rough ones. All right. I'm so scared to share this. LOL. Thank you for sharing it.
Appreciate your strength. We're
Thank
so
you.
proud of you. Thank you for being vulnerable.
Thank you. The bride was literally in love. Oh, man. This is tough. The bride was literally in love with the best man.
Oh my gosh.
This is going to be crazy.
Put my phone down. Just listening.
Let me just tell you the story, Jake. She did a first look with her best man instead of her groom, and she sobbed. You could tell the guy was so clueless and confused. I just want a commentary already, but her and the groom were so toxic and awkward towards each other the entire day. It was so hard to capture a smile or any genuine emotion other than frustration and annoyance. Between them both hesitating, saying I do at the altar, yelling at and berating each other during portraits, and them basically getting in a knockout drag fight when he tried to shove cake in her face, it will forever go down in my books as one of the worst, most awkward, weirdest wedding days of my career.
What? I'm sorry. What?
What?
A lot of questions.
How would you feel on your wedding day? We didn't know each other when you got married, you and Kenzie. I'm going to assume I'd be the best man if we could rewind time. Come on. if I come on.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, right?
Nate, you are my best man.
So, you and Kenzie are getting married, and I say, and Kenzie says, hey, I want to do a best look with Nate.
First look.
How would that make you feel?
I think I'd kill you.
You kill me? What? What did I do?
I don't know, but that's why I'm going to kill you.
It said he was clueless.
Something, you did something.
It said he was clueless. I'm clueless.
He wasn't clueless.
I'm literally just
No. Men are not clueless.
I agree. I agree with that.
No.
I agree.
Yeah. Matt Rife says this.
Who's Matt Rife?
The comedian.
Oh, yeah. Men are not clueless.
No.
There's no way. He might have been acting clueless.
Sure. Definitely was.
For my
Also,
wedding.
we could condemn the best man, but there's a lot on the bride here.
A lot.
A lot of wrong on the bride
lot.
here. Yeah.
I mean, just thinking about my wedding, I guess you and Kayla kind of had.
This story is about me.
Jake submitted this one. No. Jake wore a dress.
But yeah. Why?
For my first look.
Guys, I did a first look. Nate turned around. It was me in the dress, not his wife. And then he did it with his wife. All right. Just so you know.
And some of her favorite memories from our first look was you in the dress.
Yeah. I looked great in the dress. My chest hair looked awesome.
That was a terrible moment. We'll talk about that on a different podcast.
Yeah, this is crazy though. I wonder if that couple's still married. I doubt it. Not to project ill will on people, but
I mean, there's only if you're the best man too, let's say you're the best man in that scenario, what do you do? Like, you're best friends with the groom. If you really are clueless, I would just say, hey, no, this is your wedding day with your groom.
If I was the best man, I would say no.
Right? Mm-hmm. So why the best 100%. Man?
I don't care how tight me and the bride are. I'd say no.
We've filmed some pretty close bridal parties.
Yeah.
The bridesmaids and groomsmen have known each other for years. Yeah. And I can't imagine. It would still be wrong, a first look with the best man and also the groom. That would be weird. But the fact she did it instead of.
Let's reverse roles here. The groom does a first look with the maid of honor.
Holy cow.
The wedding wouldn't go on.
No.
The bride would not let it go on.
Goes down in flames.
So we can't pick and choose here.
How does that happen?
Benefit of the doubt, lifelong friends, childhood friends. Praying the best man was already married or has a girlfriend or a boyfriend or something that makes it way less threatening. But we don't have those details. Worst case scenario, she was in love with him.
She did sob.
Yeah. So why marry the other guy?
Why'd they get married?
This needs to be a movie. I want to hear what the update on this story.
We need to,
If this is your story,
please just send us an email.
Tell us. Tell us what happened. Did you edit the film? Did it work out?
All right.
Last story of the day.
Last story of the day. It's 10.
Okay. Last story of the day.
We still got more, so we can revisit more on.
Okay. The second wedding video I ever did was one of the craziest ever. It started out with the groom being very weird and the couple not seeming to show care in anything that was happening. No smiles, no emotion. Then, during the ceremony, in front of 100 total people, when they said the I do's, the groomsman said no and ran away and got in his car and left, and the entire audience was dead silent as the bride ran off crying. Everyone left and everything was canceled. Wait, the groomsman said no?
I said the groomsman's.
Do you think she meant the groom said no?
Yeah.
Because that wouldn't make sense any other way, right?
Just one of the grooms. Yeah, no, the groom said no 100 people. And ran away and got in his car and left.
The groom said, okay, sorry. I'm going to assume it's a typo. The groom said no, ran away, got in his car and left, and everyone was dead silent. The bride ran off crying.
Oh my gosh.
What's that movie? Love is Blind. Have you watched Love is Blind?
Great movie.
Show.
Oh, I take it back. I was thinking of something else.
Love is Blind, the show. They meet and then you don't know if you're really until the ceremony.
Yeah.
Because then during the I do's, they'll say yes or no. And people will say no.
Oh, yeah.
Most awkward secondhand embarrassment I've ever watched. And just reading that story, I feel for that bride.
Entertaining show, though. Very entertaining.
Yeah, I enjoy it. Yeah.
It was one of those things my wife started watching and I was like, nah, turn this off. This is garbage. instantly hooked. Just cooking dinner.
That's crazy.
I can't imagine. Why go to the altar? Do you think he was just like so jittery and he hoped that it would go away, that he would have some moment of clarity?
Yeah. Let's first talk about the good.
Yeah.
Glad he said that then and not years later.
Right.
But if you're going to say it then, say it. Don't propose.
Yeah.
Because you know.
I think you know.
You should know. If you don't know, you should know.
It's hard for me to believe that someone who says no at the altar didn't just want to make some sort of a show out of it, you know? Like, because I feel like before then, you know.
You could
why
have
not do it
canceled
in
the day
private?
before.
Yeah, in private, the day before.
Worst case scenario, the morning of.
Yeah.
Before everyone's arrived.
It's
But
kind
in
of
front of everybody?
He must have just been waiting to get to the altar and hoping that he would see her walk down the aisle and everything would just dissipate, like all the stress, anxiety. Because it is true. Like, I do think it's this thing where, you know, you always hear like, oh my gosh, like I married my best friend. I never had any doubts from the second I met. And it's kind of created this mindset for a lot of people where it's like, if I have any doubts or anxiety towards the person I'm marrying, am I marrying the right person?
Yeah.
And I think it should be more normalized that whoever you're getting married to, they could be the most perfect person in the world. You're going to have some anxiety.
Yeah. And I think the difference is you voice those things to your person. And if they truly are your person, they will help you get through that. They will soothe those anxieties. But if you're afraid to bring that up, I think that's a bigger issue.
Yeah.
And I'm not discounting anxiety. We all have it. But like, in my opinion, that's a telltale sign of if you're ready or not, is if you feel comfortable enough and vulnerable enough to express, because isn't that marriage, to share your deepest fears and your deepest dreams and goals with that person, and that they will look at you and not judge you.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. I learned that from This Is Us. Like if you get mad at your partner for expressing their deepest fear, you have to also say like, well, they came to me in the first place to express that. That's the virtue. And the error was not doing that sooner, in my opinion.
That's rough.
I'm just going to guess here, short engagement, short dating history.
I'd guess that too.
Me just creating this narrative about this story that I don't know anything about. I'm going to also assume it was in Canada. Just kidding.
That'd be rough.
So awkward. I feel for that bride. That's so sad.
Yeah.
Horrible.
He ran off saying no. She ran off
But
crying.
good for, like, honestly though, she'll be better because of it.
Exactly.
She can find someone better.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe they worked out, maybe they got married, maybe they have kids, who knows?
Maybe they eloped.
Who knows?
Rough second wedding to film.
Here's a question for you. Do you edit that? For the content? Stay toxic.
Man, what year was this filmed? Because maybe this was
Oh no.
before Instagram Reels and TikTok.
Could've been.
Because in a toxic world, they edit that and it goes viral and they get a bunch of followers and who knows where their career goes from that.
I can picture the bride being bitter enough to ask the videographer to still edit that. Like,
Really?
let's
I wouldn't edit it. Me personally, I would not. You still gotta have some morals. Would you edit it?
anyways.
I want those followers.
Anyways.
No, that's
Hey, we just booked a wedding
Do we really?
just now.
Hey.
New York next year. No. Let's go. Just get in.
We I'd be questioning my career choice after that one.
Yeah.
Okay, we still have. Actually, no, that was for the most part most of the stories.
That was it. Yeah.
Yeah.
A few we skipped.
A few we skipped because they were either
Rightfully so.
one too vile or two just repeating the same thing.
Sorry, guys. Let us. This is episode 2 of the podcast.
Let us get into it. Let us.
We'll see what this podcast turns into.
Sort of the
And
community.
maybe we'll do like an exclusive
Where are you going with this?
content. We'll do exclusive episodes where we read unfiltered content, and we'll put a little tamale in our link in our bio.
Back to the kitchen. Just a little spicy. Hey, a little too spicy.
Whoa. These stories are a little bit too spicy.
Man, me personally though, I'm gonna have to up my uncomfortable level in order to read some of these because some of those were like,
I agree. Genuine question.
yeah,
I was thinking, I personally can't think of any awkward stories from our career. that are that level. Not that I would share them publicly here, but I was truly trying to think about stories that you had a horrible story just a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
We can share that one because that's not at the expense of anybody.
Yeah. No. Yeah, that was crazy. And they're totally cool with us sharing this too. But I was in Wyoming.
Just a few weeks ago, a month
Yeah,
ago.
it was about a month ago. I was in Wyoming, and there was an active shooter.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so fast forward, no one got hurt, right? No one ended up in the hospital or anything. And it actually kind of ends with a bit of a funny ending, if I'm being completely honest here. Okay. Wow, I could get canceled for that. Just mentioning active shooter and funny and like.
And
Okay.
you had to laugh in the same sentence.
Nobody got hurt, but there was an active shooter involved. So I'm filming the groom getting ready, and they're in this little hotel room, and shut off all the lights, make it look moody, and he's distracted. He's just on his phone, and in my mind, I'm thinking, "Come on, man! Like it's your wedding day. You can hop off the work calls.
put it on.
Put it on pause." And I hear him take a call, and he starts talking. He's like, "Oh yeah," kind of like whispered hushes. "Yeah, no, that's not your fault. It's okay." And that's when I knew something was kind of up. And then I hear him say, "It's okay. It's not like you forgot food or anything. You guys can't control that." So instantly I'm waiting to hear what's on the other side of this call. And he hangs up. And this is a very, very small town in Wyoming. Like everyone knows each other.
Yeah.
And he gets off the phone and he says, "There was just an active shooter at the restaurant that's catering our food." And we were going to go to that restaurant that morning. At that time, the shooter entered the restaurant, which is crazy.
Insane.
Which I fully believe it was, just something led us away. And he tells us that and he says, "Well, like, we're not going to have any catered food at our wedding. We're just going to have pizza, but we're not going to tell the bride until after the ceremony," which I was going to, where's the line? When do you tell a bride before a ceremony? What do you tell her?
It depends on the bride.
Depends on the bride and the scenario.
Sure.
So he says, "Yeah, it's just going to be pizza, basically." And we're like, "Okay, cool. Like, what happened?" And what happened, as we found out later from the caterer, because, happy ending, they did make it work and they were able to provide the food.
Wild.
But he said they were sitting there in the restaurant and a shooter drives up with someone in the car. He gets out of the car and he has a pistol. He's got a pistol on his hip. I believe he might have had 2 guns, but he walks in and he pulls out his gun and he's just like, "Back up from the cash register. Give me space. Give me the money." So I guess it's not so much an active shooter. It was kind of like a robbery. A robbery. And the manager, he starts backing up and he starts getting people out of the restaurant. And the guy who's robbing just starts shooting into the ceiling.
Gosh.
So I would say it was more of a robbery than an active shooting. But he just starts shooting into the ceiling and screaming like, "Give me the money." And everyone flees the restaurant. He's scrambling to get the money. And at some point, I know the manager ran back into the restaurant because I think there was like someone still there or something. I don't know. But for some reason, he had to run back into the restaurant to check. And the guy had the money. And this is
Go on.
from what I heard, straight out of a movie, the ending. There was the driver out front.
Getaway car.
The getaway car. And he's yelling like, "Go, go, go, come on." And the guy's running with the money, and the getaway driver, in his anxiousness, steps on the gas. And the door's open, and the guy goes to like jump in the car, and he misses the car, and he smacks his head on the ground.
Dumb and Dumber, dude.
Like splits his head open, and he's just like unconscious. But his drive-away keeps going. And that's how the cops got the guy.
I would never leave you behind, Nathan.
Thank you. And that's how the cops
got
got him. Yeah.
Just laying in the road.
Just laying right there.
Well, do we wish for his recovery? We wish for his recovery. Wow.
No, I don't know.
I don't know.
He's in jail.
Wow.
But yeah, that's
wild.
that was crazy. But the caterer still, and it was
That could have gone so much worse.
so much worse. But it was such a small town that one of the bridesmaids knew like the head sheriff. And she called because they had it all roped off for investigation. Yeah. She called in and said, "Listen up, let them back just into the kitchen." Full circle here.
Wow. Here we are on the kitchen.
Let them into the kitchen. They're catering my best friend's wedding. And the head chef was like, "Oh," the head police officer, not chef, said, "Yeah, sure." And they opened it up just for them to make the food, and they made it work. And it was great food.
So here's my thing. If I was the restaurant owner and I experienced such a traumatic event, I'd be closed for a week.
Yeah. No, this guy was such a good guy.
Grind doesn't stop.
Yeah, he was a good guy.
Wow.
The
Yeah, that's
restaurant
wild.
The restaurant game does not stop.
No, they don't. Neither does the kitchen.
Neither does the kitchen. We'll see you next time.
Just abrupt ending. We don't stop. Cut the tape. That's crazy. Wow. So a lot of weird stories today.
Yeah.
Then. A lot of. I think we covered the spectrum.
Yeah.
You guys, if you want to submit your stories, you can. Every time we'll get like enough stories per category, we'll do another like awkward moments part 2 type of thing. So you guys can submit your stories and whatever it may be.
It is nice just to be able to talk about things. Because, I mean, everyone, we have filmed with a lot of people. It's basically car talk, post-wedding car talk.
Yeah.
Whenever you wrap and you get in the car, if we're with like another photographer or something, you sit in the car and you're just like, wow, that was crazy. And you just start talking about everything. This is kind of just the extended version of that.
I know. I was really trying to think of awkward moments that I've experienced that like we can share that aren't like at the expense of anybody, but
I don't think we've had awesome couples.
great. I feel like my extent of awkward moments are like just like drunk guests.
Yeah.
Which here's a take. Wild that we just allow that too. I know drinking's fun and people just it's a party, right? But I think it's wild when things happen at a wedding that are contractually I could leave the wedding because of it. But it's they're just drunk, it's okay. You know?
Yeah.
The recent one was just like being at the sparkler exit, giving a bunch of drunk people sparklers, and they're just like putting people's hair and
You got groped.
yeah.
Tell me about that.
I did get groped. I shouldn't be laughing about it.
Sorry.
It's happened to me a couple times this year.
Yeah. And they were all drunk.
Yeah. And you can't say anything. It's they're just drunk. Maybe I should say something. Yeah, I got groped
Yeah.
3 times. Same guest.
And that's the thing too. It's in the contract. If we get assaulted or groped, like we can leave.
Anyone should. I was just really enjoying that wedding.
And it was the very last moment of the day.
It was.
Would you leave a wedding? Like, let's say it just barely
It really
started.
depends.
Yeah, it's kind of hard. It would be. I understand. Like we're guys, and it's probably a lot. But if I was
bit
a
easier for us.
female, I'd probably be like, yeah, I'm done. See ya.
We've experienced weddings where the vendors have left because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think people ask me this like where, at what point do you, because a bride's not responsible for her guests, right? I mean, we say she is, but like at the end of the day, their choices aren't hers. They don't represent her. But I think it is one of those things. If it's serious enough I think the easiest thing to do if there's a planner or if you're cool with a couple, just be like, hey, just letting you know this guest has assaulted me multiple times, or even just once, whatever, or just I'm not comfortable with them. They need to leave, or I can't do my job.
Yeah.
I think that's a very easy conversation to have, as long as you're not approaching the bride with a lot of hostility and blaming her for her guests, because again, she's not the one doing it.
Right.
So I don't know. I think read the room. The times I was assaulted this year, it was minor enough for me not to care.
Yeah.
And be like, I was definitely uncomfortable and it bothered me, but it was like, you know what, like they're so out of it, and I'm really enjoying this couple and this wedding. I'm just gonna keep doing my job, and I'm gonna put more distance between me and those guests. You know. So I don't know, case by case. It's hard to say. Because it's sad. We've heard horror stories from a lot of female photographer friends of ours who have just been, it's so sad.
Yeah.
And there are definitely stories where I'm like, you should have left. Like I would have left. I hate saying it's case by case, but I think it is.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. But man, we have a lot of funny episodes coming up.
Yeah.
Just to kind of lift off some of the topics, by the way. We have a Bridezilla episode coming soon.
Also, Groomzillas, don't we?
Groomzillas, which we have no submissions for Groomzillas. So please, if you have a Groomzilla story, I really want to hear it. I'm really curious. In my experience too, I've experienced a lot more Momzillas than Bridezillas. I feel like I've rarely had a Bridezilla in my career.
We've had awesome brides.
Yeah, just love our brides. But definitely like I feel like you experience Momzillas more often. Photographer wars. This is kind of more about vendors who hate photographers. And
Yeah.
that episode's going to be probably me defending photographers.
Same.
Vendor Nightmares, a bit more generic, which is a really funny episode. Drop the Ball, times when the videographers just messed up, which we've all done.
Yeah, we all have.
Recently, one of our friends dropped the camera during the ceremony. Sam or Dallin, or
Sam.
claimed it was windy. But
Yeah.
okay.
Tripods for a reason.
Gruesome Guests as an episode, which is honestly just like an assault episode. Horrific stories. Can't wait to dive into it.
Those are gonna be tough.
Awkward moments we just did. Strange requests. Sometimes people ask you to do strange things at weddings.
Yeah.
Or strange things for the edit, as we heard from one of those stories. Asked to film the nude scenes. Worst vendor meal, which I'm very excited to talk about on the kitchen.
Very excited about that one actually.
But those are some crazy stories.
Yeah.
And then wedding icks. I think we all have just a lot of icks about weddings.
Yeah. You kind of gave it away with the kids.
The kids.
You talked a lot about kids at weddings.
Oh, that's one of my icks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless I'm not talking about like kids who are like the best or the ring bearer or the flower girls.
Yeah.
Those are so cute.
Yeah.
Love that content.
Absolutely.
It's just like when the people just like bring kids. It's like a family of 8 on the back row, and they're all under 8 years old. Miscellaneous whores, just kind of like someone requested that topic. They said, I just think I need like a generic, just if it doesn't fit in a category. So we just kind of gave it a miscellaneous category.
Yeah.
And then you wrote in hot takes, I saw.
Yeah.
So we'll have some hot takes as
Hot
well.
takes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah. Lots coming. Lots
Lots
pipeline
coming.
here. What's a cooking analogy? Lots in
To end? Oh,
a lot on the menu.
there's a lot in the oven. The baker's dozen.
The baker's dozen. That could be a little spin-off. A little baker's dozen.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Things are cooking in the kitchen.
things are cooking. I like that. That's a good sign off.
Things are cooking.
Things are cooking in the kitchen.
Thanks for ordering.
I think we just say thanks. Things are cooking in the kitchen. Yeah, let's just close this off. So things are cooking in the kitchen. We'll see you guys next week.
See you guys on Wednesday. We'll get better at ending these, I promise.
We will.